Guys, I'm going to give you the game as to the main thing you have to do anytime you're dealing with a woman. This is something that hurts a lot of guys, especially when they're in longer term relationships, is because they forget or don't even know that they should be doing the thing that I'm talking about in this video. And it's easy to lose sight of that once you already got the woman and you're just struggling to keep her. But also, it can apply to many men out here dating or trying to build casual relationships with women. It depends, but you can use this in all aspects when you're dealing with women. And what that is mastering stoicism. No matter what situation they put you in, you have to learn not to show emotional reactions for most things that they do, especially when it is revolving around negative energy, things that you dislike. And I know it's hard, guys. This is literally why guys get into arguments with women. If you find yourself getting into yelling matches with women, especially your relationship partner, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, chances are it's because you are responding emotionally back to whatever they're doing. By default, yes, the woman is going to be acting out of emotion, and it's going to be annoying. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to accept the reality of it. Is yes, she's going to do things that are emotional. She's going to do things that are irrational, and you as the man, remember you're the stronger one, right? Not just physically, but also mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Since you are the stronger one, it technically falls on you to handle the situation properly. It means that you have to hold your head high, and trying to even things out is where men go wrong. You try to hold the woman accountable verbally, and that does not work. You cannot scold them like a child and think that it's going to work for them. Really, you got to master your actions, showing what you really want to say, and then keep those emotions on the inside. And I'll give you an example. There was this one woman I was dealing with. It was about maybe a month ago, and we were supposed to meet up. And before we met, I asked her where she was, and I told her, "Hey, call me when you get here, and then I'll meet you there." So she ends up saying, "Well, how about we meet here instead? If you get here first, if you're driving on the interstate and you get to this part first, how about you stop here and meet me?" I didn't respond because I didn't need to meet her where she wanted me to meet her. I needed her to meet me where I wanted to meet her. So what ends up happening is she goes to the spot that she suggested, and I go to the spot that I suggested. Obviously, that's an issue. Once we call each other on the phone, or she calls me, because she gets there first, she asks, "Where am I?" I said, I'm going to where I told you to go. And they get upset. And they say, "Well, I said, come here." I said, "That doesn't matter. You asked me where to meet, and I told you." And long story short is this girl, or this woman, she ends up getting so emotionally distraught over us being in separate places. She ends up cursing at me and trying to yell. So all I do is I hang up the phone, because I don't need to curse back. I don't need to disrespect back or nothing like that. And that's what you're gonna have to learn, guys. It's hard to do it, right? Because you want to get payback. You're feeling like that person wins when they cuss you out and you don't say anything. But I'm going to show you here why actions have a way bigger impact. So she can say her little stuff, and yeah, it's going to probably hurt your feelings a little bit, guys. And eventually you will have to harden up some. So she cursed, I hang up, and the last thing she said before I hung up is, "Get your ASS over here." Like she's still expecting me to meet her. So what I did, I just went. I went home. I didn't tell her I'm not coming nowhere. Or I didn't say none of that. I didn't say I'm not listening to you. I hung up. I went straight home, and I ignored her calls for like the next hour or two. She was still calling me, texting me, all this stuff, asking where I'm at. She's like, "Where you at? What are you doing? We're supposed to meet." All this stuff. So, long story short, She's mad by the time we finally communicate, about maybe 2 hours later, and she ends up coming to me in the end. I never said a word to her other than you didn't go where I told you to go. And I was very calm, just like this. And so she was upset. But once she learned this lesson, she knew I gotta watch how I mess with this guy because he doesn't play around. You could tell. She was angry, but she understood that this guy is not a pushover. This guy is not gonna play around with me. Even if I get emotional, I'm yelling, I'm screaming. And then even a week later, I saw that person again because I had to. I saw them again, and they had a whole different level of, I guess you would call it somewhat respect for like how to treat me or how to talk to me. And she said, you know what, you you treated me like crap. She said something like that, and I said, no, I just gave you the energy I thought you deserved. And she said, why did you do that though? I said, if you listen to the way that you were talking to me, there's no reason that I would even entertain what you were saying or even try to get in an argument with you. I don't need to. I think that's disrespectful the way you were talking, so therefore my actions match your level of disrespect towards me. And she said, well, actions speak louder than words, and those actions you took hurt me so much. I could not believe what you did. She was telling me she couldn't believe what I did, even though I never said anything. She was the only one arguing, yelling, cursing. I never said a word. I let my actions speak for themselves. I showed the woman that you cannot talk to me this way. You cannot play around with me this way. And even when coming back to her in the end, because you would say, why would you continue to converse with this person or talk to them? Because that's the true power behind it all, is when they can't understand why you're not affected, it gives you more power, because now they look at you actually like on a pedestal a little bit more, because women don't know how to do that most of the time. They don't know how to do it. So it's something they would start to admire about you, that dang, I can't shake or rattle this guy. And that's the type of men that they are attracted to. Now you hear this story and you realize, oh shoot, I haven't been doing that as much as I could have been in a lot of situations with my spouse, my wife, my girlfriend, or in dating situations. And now once that clicks for you, you'll see why now, that over time the relationship just gets worse and worse and worse, because there's no boundary that they feel like they have to respect now, because you don't show them any true boundaries. You let them um, control your emotions, when it should be the opposite way around. By controlling your own emotions, it helps them control theirs. And it's not always foolproof. It's more so you need to detach from the thought that you could even control a woman's emotions in general, and focus on yourself. They will come around. If not, then yes, you do need to find ways to detach from that person as best as possible. And usually, not getting mad with them is a way that you can still deal with them without detaching, because they will just start to treat you differently when they see that this person still has the confidence to talk to me, but they never seem like they get ultimately mad. But if I do something to them, they're gonna pay me back with an action, and I'm not sure what that action is, so I need to be careful. And I know a lot of this talk can be confusing, guys, because I'm just spitting this off the top of my head and giving an example whether the storytelling is clear or not. However, I hope you got something from this and you learned about stoicism and mastering your emotions. I've made videos on this before, but I have different ways I can explain the same stuff over and over again. And sometimes I have different life situations too that make it an easier way to explain. But if you have more questions on this, because like I said, if you don't master it, you're going to get run over every single day by women, and not just women in general, but every person in your life. But however, hit me up in the comments below if you have other questions or you want to see me make some more videos on things like this.